Well, hello there friends, Stag here. Welcome back to my channel where I showcase the creation process of my creepy cute lowbrow and gothic fantasy art and ramble the art things. This painting is titled The Haunter. Originally it was just a quick sketch. I wasn't really into it that much, but I liked the theme, so I sketched her out again in a different composition. I wanted her bottom half to kind of dangle with more of an exaggerated pose. I instantly wanted to paint her. She also will shortly be an enamel pin. She was part of my Creepers and Haunts enamel pin Kickstarter. I just had to adjust her a little bit for the design to work. She lost her right arm to make her work better for a pin. The Kickstarter just ended yesterday, so I'm waiting for them to finalize all the stuff so I can order them in about 2 weeks. And then wait some more time until they're manufactured. I always enjoy painting a misty forest scene. It normally takes layers to build up, but it feels worth it. Every now and again though, there are just one of those paintings for some reason. It just doesn't feel right and won't work out. Sometimes I just get a little weird if I build up too many layers or the layers are too thick and the texture just feels off. I end up restarting it. I had taken a work in progress photo and ran it through an editor because my cell phone sucks at photos with my lighting. They normally come out incredibly yellow, and I'm not going to just go bring out my photography umbrella stands for a quick work in progress snap while I'm painting. But I found the filters in my corrections editor and I'm glad I did. I started playing around with it a bit and I was intrigued the contrast with the warmth it gave the light, so I decided to emulate it. It kind of gives it a misty morning feel. Originally I had the light peering through the trees more to the yellow side, but the orange that it ended up with really made it pop. Which I know I'm not even to that point yet in this video, really. Instead of using a red, I use alizarin crimson hue. I use it for a lot of mixes, and other than a quinacridone something or other that I don't remember the title to right now, I don't really have any purples on hand. They function relatively similar to me. If I want more of a violet traditional purple, I'd add some teal or blue or an ultramarine with some white or black. But for pinks and oranges, I will add yellow and white to it. It's just one of those colors that it works well for it, and I like the effects the oranges and pinks have. The purple, the alizarin crimson hue purple color, I'm like, technically I think it's like on a red, but it is definitely like a purple color. But I also carried it through the tree in the foreground with more emphasis on the outer edges of the tree for this magical sun flare effect. It's really hard to pick up stuff like that on a camera. My brain works closely with the paintings and I concentrate on all these little details that can only be seen close up, and at a distance so much of the information gets lost. This is why I like to do full body scenes and such at a minimum like 11 by 14 inches. Trying to squish all the details on a smaller painting just muddies it. However, the larger works will sit, so it's something I have to think about. I do a lot of these scenes just for me, and if they take me like a year to sell, I don't care. I am currently out of 11 by 14s and will be restocking soon so I can gesso and sand in the spring. I don't fare well outside in the cold for very long, and it's been very cold and windy. I used to sand them inside despite knowing not to. I was young and dumb and felt immortal, and you get that meh, I'll be fine mentality upon doing research and seeing if there were some environmental changings that could have made my health kind of bad. I had read autoimmune disorders are more prevalent in people that inhale silica. Think of miners and people that are around the dust of it. I realized one of the main components of gesso is silica, and it gives it that coarse chalkiness for the texture. I had been inhaling it for years in closed spaces with poor ventilation. By no means do I blame the gesso entirely, but it probably exacerbated the entire issue. Like, I've had issues for a while, and I'm allergic to most wood, so that also didn't help the matter either, I'm sure. But I will be definitely investing in a respirator for my sanding this year. On the bad days, it's easy to fixate on the bad and just being stuck in a state of mourning of when things used to work right, and I just wanted to share this as a warning. Listen to the labels, they are there for a reason. Another thing to note and be entirely aware of is a lot of paints are toxic. The pigments come from certain things that happen to be toxic. They can have heavy metal or other fancy stuff that you just don't want in your body. It's something to definitely keep in mind, and never let animals drink from paint water. It might be cute, a cat comes up on the desk and tries a drink, but it's not when they're, just drinking heavy metals. My cat on more than one occasion has tried. I am currently using a brush tub that has a lid, but I often just empty it out and just leave it where he can't get it, with it kind of drying out overnight, so he's not in it. I've been aiming to prepare most of my surfaces only like once a year and kind of stock up, so I find myself planning pieces throughout the year. I did my last sanding in the fall, and I have a ton of 8x10s and several of the mini coffins left, and a couple large coffins and the moon panels from Trekell for some interesting work. But I started plotting out some other shapes and projects to work, and I'm waiting for those to come in so I can sand this spring. I'm also have to wait a bit for my supplier for my mini wood blocks, because I am almost out of those and they are not currently in operation. But one of my plans for the year was painting on spirit board planchettes. For a couple years I'd been planning a laser etched spirit board. I had reached out to a company and really wanted to go through with it, but the last couple of years just weren't for me and it never happened. So I got rather ambitious for this year and reached out again. Even though they were on a break, well, they never came back from the break and are closing their doors, which really saddens me as I love their work. Fiendies, if you are familiar with them. So it looks like that is definitely not happening this year. But there's no real story behind this painting, but I feel like it's something I might like to write about. I've been writing a bit of short stories tied to my paintings and elements in my art. Some paintings are more emotional with more of a narrative, and some are just more aesthetic, which I enjoy my paintings being rather ambiguous with their scenes telling a different tale to the individuals, but I feel like approaching them in a different medium. Throughout the years, I've slowly been crafting my own world, and I'm excited to see how it slowly evolves. I was also thinking about eventually narrating some of those stories, and maybe even some others, like some Lovecraft or Poe, things that I draw inspiration from, and then illustrate them. Well, I will leave this at that. Let me know in the comments what you think about longer narrations. Sometimes there is not much to say, so I bail out earlier in the video, but a lot of those videos had been so long since I had even painted them, I just don't have any of the inspiration still in mind. I was thinking of aiming for at least one video a week as I'm catching up, so I can do more of a This Week in Stag Land breakdown with my ramblings. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, as I post there daily with new art sketches, news, and works in progresses. And as always, you can find a menagerie of prints, paintings, stickers, pins, and more featuring my art at lowbrowmisfits.com, including this painting, The Haunter. Bye-bye.